Alright, this was from secondary, but my school hosted both secondary and high school, so I guess it counts. I'm in Singapore. My school moved to a temporary campus for 3 years due to renovation. The neighborhood where it was located used to be a cemetery, which was demolished and then built over. They tried to retrieve as many coffins as possible, but they didn't retrieve all, this is a fact. Which mean, there are literally dead bodies below where we were studying. The holding campus used to belong to a vocational school. Back in Japanese occupation time, it was a communal shelter since there was a large bomb shelter there. In my period, it was converted into a band room, and there were tons of scary stories behind it. People report hearing drums being knocked after lockdown. It wasn't just rats knocking, it was the small drums being tapped on. Some report seeing the security guard locking the door, only to find it opened a few minutes later. There is an actual rule enforced in school, that no one is supposed to be in the band room after dark. The security guard at 6 will force everyone to drop whatever they are doing and leave the room at once. They cite it for security reasons, but I once had a genuine talk with the principal, and he admitted it was due to the ghost stories. Mind you, this man is a hardcore devout Christian. But apparently the ghost stories were way too common, and confirmed by many people, he went ahead and took precautions. I am from Malaysia. And if you from Asian, especially Southeast Asia, almost every school or hospital is rumor was built on cemeteries or war zones or something to do with lot of people died there. Anyway, my school's story was used to be a hospital, then World War II happened and Japanese killed everyone in the hospital and especially Indians were in there. That's why our school library is almost dark and humid and wet, Asian ghost story settings, even with lights on 24/7 it's still dark in the corner of the room. One day, a Chinese student and 2 Malay students were possessed during their class at the library. 2 of them were doing Indian dance, one of them screaming "We will dance but don't kill us" in Tamil and Japanese. The following week, school invited priests, monk, everyone deals with this stuff to the library, do their stuff whole week and student not allowed to go near the library. The weirdest part, they told us they put many different talisman, Bible, Quran in the library, don't search for them, and don't remove them. Students were only allowed to go to the library next year. The library doesn't feel dark anymore, and there was a group of brave kids tried to look for the stuff they left in the library. Till today nothing is found. The only clue we have, one of the wall kinda have a strange looking shadow and that's it. I was in 8th grade when this happened. We were returning from the stadium, as we always did in a winter day. At 6 in the afternoon the sky was already dark and I was waiting at school for my parents to pick me up. As a curious child I walked around the school to explore how it was in the dark. I saw an old door, and heard a sound like something banging the door, and a metallic sound. My heart was racing and I could only think to calm myself down that was the cleaning lady. I encouraged myself to walk near the seniors area, and in the very end I saw a static black figure. I hid behind a column of concrete, and then I popped my head to see if it was still there. It was closer than before. When I came back to my senses I ran away. I didn't dare to look back. I asked the guard if there was someone of the cleaning stuff still at school. But he just shook his head telling me that they have gone home long ago. So the sound of the door and that thing wasn't normal. Then months later, I heard a story that a student of baccalaureate committed suicide long ago. In grade 9 I had a hard time making friends. I had some truancy issues because I went to school out in the country but lived in the city. I wasn't a bad kid by any stretch of the imagination. To this day I've never even been in a fight. In January, the principal decided it would be best to ship me off to an alternative school. It was a school for bad kids. Kids who were getting in trouble with the law. You know, little shitheads. At this school, I got my ass beat on a daily basis. The bus was especially bad. I wasn't a white trash loser like the rest of the kids, so I was bullied mercilessly. One time I was punched so hard in the back of the head that the lump was about the size of a softball cut in half. Another time, a girl ripped a huge clump of hair out of the side of my head. I had a bald spot. When she was confronted about it, she started crying about how she was the victim. It got so bad that they actually installed cameras on the bus. They didn't help. I left after a little more than a month. I did homeschooling through the same school for the remainder of the year. The next school year, I went back to a regular high school in the city. To give you a background, I used to live in Cavite City, and I went to one of the largest Catholic schools in our area. Many people at our school said that it was a cemetery and an abandoned fair, that many people may have died on a Ferris wheel. I had one encounter in 2017. I was still in grade 7. There are 4 floors in the school and my classroom is located on the 2nd floor. At lunchtime, the guards sent us down to the faculty staff at the cafeteria for security purposes. I was stubborn walking on different floors at lunchtime. I was bored and walking in the hallway of the 2nd floor. Then, bypassing my classroom, I saw a girl standing in our classroom staring out our window with our uniform. The hair was waist length, and the skin was white and pale. As I approached, I noticed her skirt was red with blood. I got goosebumps. I thought it was my classmate, but based on the hairstyle above, it doesn't look like anyone I see every day. He just stood there, until he suddenly disappeared when I chose. I ran away from the 1st floor and never looked back. There was a rumor that a student might have committed suicide in our classroom at noon, according to one of my teachers who had been teaching there for a long time. Now that I'm older, this encounter is forever stuck in my head. And as the chilling whispers of the high school's dark secrets fade into the night, remember, even in the brightest of hallways, shadows lurk, waiting to ensnare the unwary in their grasp.